This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Thursday, August 14th, 2025. I'm Alex Brown. Officials in Dearborn County broke ground today on a $28.5 million turkey processing facility near Interstate 74 in West Harrison. Ohio-based Whitewater Processing is building the 85,000 square foot facility and plans to add 130 jobs. The company also plans to incorporate a deli and butcher shop on site to serve local families. The Dearborn County Redevelopment Commission entered into an economic development agreement with the company in March to facilitate the project. That included a 10-year property tax abatement to help offset startup costs and a commitment to making certain road improvements near the site. Construction on the West Harrison facility is expected to be complete by the end of 2026. Gary Chicago International Airport is accelerating a key component of its cargo services expansion. The receipt of a previously allocated $9.8 million state grant will allow the airport to simultaneously build 8 wide-bodied aircraft parking positions on a new cargo logistics apron. Construction is now slated for completion by the end of this year. The airport said the move will provide about $8.5 million in overall cost savings. Jasper-based Kimball Electronics is reporting fiscal full-year net income of just under $17 million compared to $20.5 million the previous year. The company also recorded nearly $1.5 billion in net sales, representing the third highest annual revenue total in its history. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media podcast network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
A federal appeals court affirmed a lower court's preliminary injunction Wednesday, allowing 2 Hoosier mothers to continue providing state-reimbursed caregiving services to their medically fragile children.
The plaintiffs are represented by the American Civil Liberties Union of Indiana and Indiana Disability Rights. They argued that the children's care was too intensive to transition from attendant care to another state program last August. With the statewide shortage of nurses, mothers also said they couldn't use state services to hire an outside caretaker and had to take on the 24/7 responsibilities themselves. Responding to a nearly $1 billion projected Medicaid shortfall, state leaders with the Family and Social Services Administration made several changes in 2024 and halted a program that paid parents to be caregivers to their own children with medically complex conditions. The attendant care program for legally responsible individuals paid parents an hourly livable wage, but roughly 1,600 families were transitioned to another service that paid a per diem stipend at a far lower rate. 2 mothers sued and were eventually granted a preliminary injunction, which the U.S. 7th Court of Appeals affirmed this week. Previously, a federal judge in Indianapolis ruled that FSSA must secure in-home skilled nursing services for both children on top of program offerings. I'm Mark Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
By the time Live Indianapolis concludes its 3-day stint in Westfield this weekend, the event is expected to be among the most highly attended competitions the professional golf tour has hosted in the United States. A Live spokesperson told our partners at the IBJ that about 50,000 spectators are anticipated throughout the event at the club at Chatham Hills, on par with this year's Live stop in Dallas, which also drew 50,000 and set a single-day attendance record of 20,000. The London-based tour, financed by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, will bring 54 of the world's top men's golfers to Westfield for a $25 million tournament. We'll have more on the event and its impact on this weekend's edition of Inside Indiana Business Television. Seymour-based convenience, retail, and logistics company Cocoline Development Corporation has acquired Clafters, a Pennsylvania-based tobacco and convenience wholesaler. CEO Andrea Sandman says the acquisition was a natural fit.
Family-owned business in a great community, similar to where we're based in Seymour. The company's size fit ours. It was kind of a plug-and-play business because it's something that we were familiar with. We could just plug into our existing operations, the people we already have in place, We offer a lot of the same products, and the two different chains really have different strengths and weaknesses that we thought could play off of each other.
Cocaline owns 21 Smokers Host discount tobacco retailers, and the acquisition brings 16 smoker-friendly and Cigar Express retail locations in Pennsylvania and Ohio under its umbrella. Financial terms of the acquisition were not disclosed. TV news anchor turned entrepreneur Nicole Pence Becker is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
I'm Tiffany Souter, mom of four, wife, entrepreneur, and host of the Life of And podcast. For years, I built my life with brute force, a successful business, a growing family, and absolutely zero margin. I was tired, snappy, and felt constantly behind, and I was too afraid to admit it. Everything changed when I stopped trying to do more and started building systems that actually worked for my real life. If you too are craving more peace, more presence, and just more time for you, I'd love for you to join me on the Life of And. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast app or listen at ibjpodcast.com.